They told us she was the most valuable life form on Earth. They told us nations would burn to control her. They told us if she died, her species would vanish forever then. They handed me a rifle and assigned me to the night shift. Her name was Lirash. Lived inside a reinforced containment hangar, built like a fortress, steel walls 30 feet high, floodlights bright as daylight. Armed patrols at every entrance, satellite surveillance above and at the center of it all sat a giantess taller than any building in the city. When I first saw her, I forgot how to breathe. She was seated to fit beneath the ceiling, yet her head nearly touched the upper beams. Her silver skin reflected the lights in a soft glow. Her hair fell over her shoulders in pale strands thicker than my waist. Her eyes were enormous and impossibly blue. But what struck me most was not her zit, was the loneliness in her face. The Illyrians had arrived decades ago, refugees from a destroyed world. Disease and environmental collapse followed them across the stars. One by one, they for deadly Liara alone survived in perfect health. More than that, she was fertile. That word changed everything. It meant hope, it meant children. It meant her species could live again, so humanity did. What we do best, we built walls, we stood guard, we refused to let extinction. When my job was simple, walk the perimeter, watch for threats, protect the last fertile giantesson. My first night she noticed me, her head tilted slightly, her massive eyes followed my patrol paths. More guardian, she said. Her voice rolled through the hangar like distant thunder, yet it carried gentleness. Private Daniel Hayes, I answered. You are new, she said. Yes. She studied me as if I were the unusual one. I kept walking, that was how it began. The nights were long, most of the base slept while I circled beneath her shadow. Sometimes she watched the ceiling. Sometimes she closed her eyes, but never fully slept. On the fourth night, the temperature inside the hangar dropped. Cold air slipped through ventilation shafts. I rubbed my hands together between patrol loops. A massive shadow shifted. Yara lowered one finger to the floor near me. Heat radiated from her skin. You are cold. Daniele, I'm fine. You tremble. It is nothing. The next evening, Supply delivered heavier thermal gear with no explanation. I glanced up at her. She gave a small, satisfied nod. Over time, our conversations grew. She asked about oceans, about mountains, about rain. What does rain feel like? She asked once. Like the sky, whispering. I said. She smiled at that. She wanted to know about music. I brought a small speaker during one shift, played soft piano. She closed her eyes as the notes echoed upward. It feels like light, she whispered one night. She asked something unexpected. Are you afraid of May? Considered the truth at first. Yes, and now no. Why? Because you have never tried to harm Usher. Gaze softened. In my world, she said, strength was measured by size. She raised her hand slightly. Our world proves something different. Threats were constant. Corporations wanted genetic control. Alien factions wanted to claim her for their own. Fanatics believed humanity should not interfere. Security briefings became routine. Contingency plans stacked higher each month than the breach happened. Was near midnight. The alarms erupted without warning. Red light washed across the steel walls. Intruders at the outer perimeter. Gunfire cracked through the corridor, ran toward. Lirash was already awake. Daniel, I am here, I said. Explosions shook the hangar doors. 3 armored figures burst through smoke near the inner access point. They were fast, well-equipped, desperate. I fired. First one fell. Then another. The third shot. Back pain ripped through my side, and I collapsed. My rifle skidded across the floor. Attacker advanced. Liara moved. Her massive hand descended with terrifying speed. It struck the ground between us, and the impact knocked the intruder off balance. Her fingers closed around him. She lifted him effortlessly and carried him away from me. Security forces flooded the hangar seconds later. The attackers were neutralized. Medics dragged me onto a stretcher as they carried me out. I saw her face, above not fierce, not angry afraid. I woke in a hospital room, days later, internal bleeding broken. Ribs, severe blood loss. I survived when I was cleared for duty. I learned I had been reassigned to administrative rotation, safer, less exposed. Liara stopped eating at first. They thought it was stress. Then she spoke. Bring back Daniel. Command called me in. That same afternoon you were being reinstated to night guard. They said I returned to the hangar that evening. She saw me instantly. Relief flooded her features. You returned, she said. Of course. She lowered her hand to the floor, and I stepped onto her palm. Slowly she lifted me until I stood near her face. You risked your life, she said. That is my job. Nor. Her breath warmed my uniform. You risked your life for me, for humanity, I corrected. She studied me. What is humanity? She asked people who stay. She was silent for a long time. Then she spoke softly. Then you are humanity. Recovery changed our bond. She trusted me openly. Now shared memories of her lost world, vast cities of crystal forests that shimmered beneath twin suns, children running across plains larger than continents. I listened. That was something humanity offered her. Witness months past her. Health stabilized. Medical teams confirmed what everyone hoped. She would bear children. The announcement spread across the planet. Celebrations erupted. Markets shifted. Alliances strengthened. But inside the hangar, nothing changed. Still walked my patrol. She still asked about rain. The day her first child was born, the entire base held its breath. It took hours. When the newborn cried, the sound echoed like a mountain splitting open. A smaller giantess, healthy Alavelia, wept. I had never seen a being that large cry before. Her tears were the size of buckets. Were right, she whispered, about what tomorrow. More children followed in the years after. Human scientists cooperated with Illyrian knowledge, medical technology, advanced security, expanded. Humanity never claimed ownership. We guarded, we provided, we stood. Watch. Liara never forgot us. I aged. My hair turned grey, my steps slowed. Yet I refused transfer. One evening, long after the crisis years had passed, she spoke again. Daniel Sue gave us a future. I smiled. You carried it yourself. She shook her head gently. When my world ended, I believed we were small. Even in our size, we were small. She looked down at me. Your species is physically fragile. Your lives are short. Your bodies break easily. She paused. Dead. You stood between extinction and hope. That is not fragility, that is strength. I rested my hand against her finger. We just stayed. Yes, she said. You stayed. The hangar no longer felt like a prison. It felt like a beginning. Children laughed in distant sections of the complex. Young giants learning to speak, learning to walk, learning to trust humans who looked like insects beside them. Liara watched them with pride. One quiet night, she asked me a final question. If your world had fallen, would mine have protected you? I thought about that. I believe. So I said, why be? Because you learned from Ustri, nodded slowly. Then our species are alike. How we both survive by choosing to protect something beyond ourselves. Looked around the vast hangar, at reinforced walls, at the lights, at the security stations. We had built all of it for her, not for power, not for profit, for life. Years later, when my service finally ended, I stood before her one last time in uniform. You will not walk the night shift, she said. No. She lowered her hand, as she had done countless times, so stepped onto her pomp. Thank you, Daniel, she said. For what? For staying. Her voice carried the weight of gratitude, deeper than oceans. I realized then that humanity had not saved her because she was valuable. We saved her because we could, because extinction is an enemy we refuse to surrender to, because sometimes the smallest guardian standing in the dark can hold the line for an entire civilization. stepped down from her hand behind her young giants, played beneath the lights, a species reborn as I walked out of Hangar 12 for the final time. I understood something simple and powerful. We are small, we are fragile, but when the night comes we stay asterisk.